Okay, there's a lot of you here, so I'm going to need a lot of help with this. Come closer, come on, come closer. Come closer. Okay, now, sometime in January, somebody in Tunisia was in such despair about his world, economically and politically, and he didn't feel there was any way in the world he could change it. And he set himself on fire. Okay. What happened next? What happened next is he set the world on fire. What we see here started in Tunisia, spread to Egypt, Bahrain, Libya, yes, Libya. He spread throughout the Yemen, Syria. I'm forgetting somebody. Egypt. I didn't forget Egypt. I promise.
Libya.
Greece. Spain. A long time I once made a joke that didn't work, but I'm going to make it again. I said, think local, know what your world's about, but act global. Today, we are millions of people, and we are global. One more time, we are global. We occupy everywhere.
Politicians, how much money do they make? 300,000 expenses a year.
I'm going to get to the sex trade workers later. No offense to the sex trade workers. Okay. Okay, we're here because we're part of what started in the Arab Spring, and we're going to continue it. Okay, we're here because a couple of years ago, the market crashed, and that changed everything.
Governments are corrupt, and we want to do something about it.
We are what to do about it.
Yes.
Where did they get their wealth? They got it from you, and you, and you. And where did they get their power? Whose power? Whose power? I can't hear you. I can't hear you.
Our power!
Thanks, Habib.
My pleasure. Yes.
Okay, so a couple things, and I know I was told never to say okay, but I gotta think, I gotta pause. Okay, it's a big picture. The big picture is something like this. We're here because the market shifts pretty much all the wealth to the 1%. We're not part of the 1%. In fact, probably the next 2 or 3%. Okay, we need to bigger the picture. Most of the wealth in our society has been shoveled off to the rich, and it's worse than it used to be. Bankers, traders, politicians, corporate bosses. Actually, the politicians are just workers. They just got bought and sold like the rest of us. Because we live in a world where democracy is for sale. Are you for sale?
No!
Are you for sale?
No!
Whose power?
Our power!
Whose power?
Our power!
Whose power?
Our power!
Thank you. Okay. Okay. Now, we have to look at the bigger picture here, because we live in Alberta, and we know that Alberta is surrounded, we live in a bubble of oil. It's dirty oil, but it's a bubble. Did you say corporate oil?
Corporate oil! Our oil! Blood-covered oil! Blood-covered oil!
Do you think there's anything ethical about that oil?
No!
Okay. Do you want to fight a war for somebody else's oil?
No!
Okay, just one more thing. No blood for oil!
No blood for oil!
No blood for oil!
No blood for oil!
Okay, now get back to my mainstream. Capitalism is a system. Okay, the market is its matrix. Yeah, I taught film for a long time. Again, the market is the matrix. 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 Okay. The market sends
They don't have a banner.
sends the wealth and the power to a very small number of people. Capitalism is, in its best, an exploitative system.
Everyone's gone home.
At its worst, as it is in most of the world, a desperate system. That's what we saw in the Arab Spring. It wasn't just about democracy there, it was also about equality. And what I want to talk to you about is the need to connect the struggle for political equality, for the struggle for economic equality. Okay. Again, we need to bring our power together to put the way in which they do things in the world into question. And that's what we're doing here, and that's what we're doing everywhere. Okay? Okay, so in 2008, when the banks went bankrupt, when the market was bankrupt, we should have declared it bankrupt and nationalized it. Instead, we paid for it. We're still paying for it. Oh. Remember, folks, but we're no Tea Party, right? We're not a Tea Party. We're the 99%.
Working people under attack. What do we do? Stand up, fight back. Working people under attack. What do we do? Stand up, fight back. Working people under attack. What do we do? Stand up, fight back. Working people under attack. What do we do? Stand up, fight back.
Okay, so the other part of the systematic character of the crisis is it's been a long time coming. Some of you have been here before. We were here as the anti-globalization movement. We've been here as struggles for cutbacks. Some of you might be here from, I don't know, AUPE, where they're talking about privatizing you. Every time you hear about privatization, every time you hear about inflation, every time you hear one of those things, they want to take something from you. Your life gets a little bit worse. Okay? Real wages have been basically stuck for 35 years, and the only reason things are okay is most families have two parents working. Okay? So if you're a parent, a worker, an unemployed person, you need to get more people out in the street. Okay?
The lousy 1% gives you your fucking job.
Why don't we confront this to
No, we give them their job and they take their pay from us. Okay. Not so many people do. Okay. Okay, so the system is systematically exploitative, and it's at the moment in crisis. Okay, because the economic crisis will come here. Here's how it works. We bailed out the banks, then they say our debt's too big. What happens when the debt's too big? Austerity! Layoffs! Poverty! Okay, so what do we want? We want a world that's based on our power.
We want a fucking free world!
We want a free world! Hey, I gotta go from that. Okay, one of the things, I teach film, remember, one of the things is when you see something about, in culture, when you see political power, or the way in which political power and powerlessness is experienced is through sexual subordination. These people are fucking us over. Do you like being fucked over? Let me hear you. Do you like being fucked over? What are you going to do about it? Okay. Okay, what I am going to ask you to do is a couple things. I'm going to ask you to stay and discuss what we do, because we have assemblies, we have discussion, we have democracy. Remember, what happens with them is that democracy is for sale. Politicians are bought and sold. Again, all apologies to actual sex trade workers. Okay? And that's why our democracy isn't working. What do we need? We need jobs. We need health care. We need Medicare. We need dental care. We need child care. We need education. What? And we need, yeah, I thought that was Mike's thing. Yeah, and we need the environment because the capitalist system, a for-profit system, is always going to screw the environment. It's always going to do the tar sands because it's profitable. Okay, it doesn't matter if we poison the water. Oh, and it doesn't matter if they've turned oil, it doesn't matter if they've turned water into oil. Oh, and we might need water more than oil. Because right now, it's profitable. We have to find a way of controlling investment on a democratic and international basis.